was reminded recently at an event not far from here in Boston called StrowlerCon that there I was surrounded by my mad palimpsest crew, my StrowlerCon delights, my strange artistic cabal of madness, of the concept of interstitial collaboration. Now, warning, it's a big word, so I'm gonna break it down. Because interstitial is this amazing word on my tongue, because it means between genres, or in other definitions, between comfortable, known boundaries. Interstitial fiction is a piece of something that doesn't apply in one genre or another. It is horror stories with vampires. It is fairies in space. I support your vision of fairies in space. In the visual world, of the world of visual arts, interstitial art is something that is either both or neither. It's that of the categories, right? It's paintings with words written into them. It's violin players dancing with slideshows projecting in the background while they hula hoop. It's things we can't put into one easy category. And in architecture, interstitial architecture is the notion of building spaces that are neither this nor that. They are open awnings where we are still putting a coffee table underneath. It is living spaces out in the open. So to work interstitially means to work at the intersections of possibility. Not only can a single artist interstitially do work with poetry woven into rugs, but when Kat was writing her novel Into the Labyrinth, she was listening to and being inspired by Suge's song, Come to the Labyrinth. My thoughts earlier about complex ecosystems are an interstitial inspiration from Michael Pollan's work. And later tonight, when I do my performance, I'm going to be doing an interstitial inspiration inspired by one of Catherine Valenti's pieces, Under in the Mare, where she wrote, "It's funny how question contains the word quest inside it, as though any small question asked is a journey through briars." The difference between interstitial inspiration and stealing intellectual copyright is that everyone comes out richer for the interaction. What one of us does actually helps the next one, and credit is given where credit is due. And all of us live in a better world for the work done. It's about working creatively with honor, with integrity. It's not about stealing, it's about sharing and growing. And it means me telling you to go out and buy Kat and Michael's books. It means me saying, listen to Suge's album and support her stuff. Go out and make it better for all of us, emotionally, socially, physically, energetically, and just to be transparent, financially. Now that's interstitial art and interstitial inspiration, but there's this other thing that I brought up, interstitial collaboration. That's when we work directly with another artist or someone from another genre and create something that could never have existed before. This is where we bloom those strange and beautiful flowers. When Catherine's book, In the Night Garden, was set to come out, she sat down with S.J. Tucker and they created a combination album that was readings and music that would never have been birthed into the light of this world if they hadn't been willing to sit down and make something new that neither of them had dreamed before. 2 years ago, I had a chance to work interstitially in collaboration with Morpheus, NYC, for the American Association for Sexuality Educators, Counselors, and Therapists, ASECT, their big conference down in Phoenix, Arizona. Because we both wanted to do something to make our communities better, to do something that raised us all up, but neither of us knew what. And so instead of doing what we both usually did as people who talk too much and do too much, and coming with our giant lists of agendas, figuring out where we would, well, maybe if you have this list on your wish list and I have this wish list, then maybe we'll find one thing that we can team up on, that removal of possibilities and stripping it down to what we think we both came to the table with. Instead, we sat down with no real expectations other than that we wanted to work together and do something cool and new. His passion for the pleasure positive movement and mine for all things passion and soul led to us that we started putting together a notion of conversation. We started talking about ideas that weren't on our usual lists. And we found out over the course of 2 days, on and off, back and forth over instant text messaging and chat systems and phone calls, that we actually both had a history of being profoundly affected by self-injurious practices. Either our partners had been cutters, or we had pushed our bodies beyond where we could from a place of needing to have bodies hurt so that our spirit didn't anymore. And that would not have been on the list if we had come with lists. If we'd only stuck to those easy labels that are so easy to fall back to. With his passion for conversation and interviews and mine for compiling information and making it accessible for others, we embarked on a qualitative study of the intersections, similarities, and differences between self-injurious practices, BDSM practices, and body modification. Now, oftentimes in our varied alt-sex, kink, queer, poly, trans, bi, gender radical, fairy, whatever fabulous populations we're working with today, I often see us work from that starvation mentality. I see us working from a place of fear. If the gay community gets one up, then obviously we have to throw the leather community under the bus to have this work. But I wonder what would happen if we worked towards greater interstitial inspirations and collaborations. If we could somehow think interstitially with each of our movements as a genre, and we could create new works that we never dreamed up. Just as every one of you is a complex ecosystem, so are each of our communities. And just as each of our communities is a complex ecosystem, the health of all of us together is in turn a complex ecosystem. The health and well-being of the kink community affects the health and well-being of the polyamory community, which affects the well-being of the trans community, which affects the well-being of everyone else. We are not going it alone. We all together are a complex ecosystem. Together, we have the possibility of growing new, beautiful, unexpected flowers. Between the lake and the shade, between personal and global, between queer and trans and every other identity. We can have deep, rich, orange blossoms that taste of tangerine running down my chin, that taste so beautiful if I'm willing to take a bite. Orange is the color of enthusiasm, of creativity, of determination, and of success. Orange is one of those healing colors that bring us vitality and endurance. And I have to say, our communities have endured. We have endured for so long, carrying the weight of the world on our shoulders. And I think it's time we started talking more about thriving and succeeding, not just enduring for another day.